Stop trying to work it out. Okay, that is the title of this video. And it's a very important title as well because I speak to so many people, I coach many people who are still trying to work it out, trying to figure it out. Now, I've got complete understanding because that was me. I spent many years of my life trying to figure out, trying to get an answer, trying to work it out. Because I was convinced that that was the key to peace. I was looking for that imaginary key to unlock that imaginary lock, okay, in my head. That constant replaying, that constant reviewing, that constant rumination, okay? That rumination starts coming down once we chip away at the fears, once we get under the irrational beliefs. When we're very irrational, when we're very rigid, when we're very black and white of how we view stuff, the rumination is still going to be very high. And it's automatic because that is primarily a symptom of OCD. That won't just come down overnight. Anyone saying just to stop ruminating doesn't understand OCD because you can't just stop ruminating. You have to look at why you're ruminating, what scares you, what are the core fears, and break that down with perspective shifts, getting under core fears, unconditional acceptance, making peace with worst case scenario, knowing that acceptance isn't agreement, but breaking that down, even if the worst case was true, how you can still have acceptance of yourself, for other people, for life conditions and so on. And that's so important in regards to working it out. Now, I see this so often. I see it all the time. People still trying to work it out. And it is a frustration. But I understand why. I've got complete compassion because I get that. Because OCD is so convincing. It feels so real. It will convince you that if you just try and work this last thing out, you will get peace. You can be anxiety-free. You can be guilt-free, you can be panic-free, and you can go and live your life doing handstands down the street, nothing holding you back. Well, hey, absolutely living life to the full. That is an illusion. That is an OCD trick. That is the trap. That is an OCD bluff. It's fooling you. It's kidding you. You're falling for the trap every time. Because you would not be watching this video of me today, talking to you, if it delivered on its promise. OCD will promise to you that if you just figure this last one out, you will get relief. You will get an answer. You will then feel peace for the rest of your life and you'll have nothing in your life holding you back. That is the trap. Okay, because soon as you get an ounce of working it out, I've got relief. I feel like I've got an answer there. I've got clarity. I can remember what happened in full. And as you just about reach out for that, OCD switches up, it changes, it finds something else, it takes it away, it goes, nope, that's not true, you were actually this age, nope, that's not true, this was your intention, nope, you deliberately thought that, no, you wanted that, no, you actually like that, okay, no, you did actually want that. Okay, and that's what it's going to do. It's going to hit you from a different angle. Anytime you feel like you're close to working it out, getting an answer, getting relief, get just that ultimate figuring it out, it's going to take it away from under your feet. It's going to pull the rug from underneath you. And that's what it does. And trust me, I was down that trap many times. I was down that rabbit hole in that compulsive cycle. If I just work this one out, then I can get relief. For the minute I woke up in the morning, my brain was just scanning. Scan, always looking for that thing that I could not accept. Okay, any sort of guilt-related theme, any sort of sexual taboo-related theme, any harm, any violent theme. So you should go after drunk memories as well, things you can't quite remember. Anything where it felt like the guilt was going to ruin the rest of my life. Where it felt like I could not live my life if I hadn't worked this thing out. I cannot move on if I don't get an answer on this. Because we are craving certainty. We are chasing certainty. When I was craving certainty, I was like a drug addict chasing a drug. I was so set on getting certainty, I couldn't be stopped. It's like I was possessed. I was so set on getting certainty, I had to get it. And if I didn't, I would do anything to achieve certainty. The reassurance, the confessing, the Googling, the constant replaying until I got an answer. Never delivered, never got an answer. Okay, just an illusion. I would do anything just to, like hit and run OCD, driving OCD, which is very common, by the way. To get certainty, sort of talking about doing U-turns in the road and going up the other way to make sure that I didn't hit anybody off their bike, make sure I didn't hit a pedestrian. Okay, so I'd be putting myself in danger doing the compulsion because I was so desperate to get certainty, so desperate to get relief. And that's what OCD does. Even though there's no logic, even though you know it makes no sense doing that, you are so set on getting an answer. Okay, and in this job, I see the extremes. I see people housebound. I was housebound of avoidance and compulsions because they are so desperate to not get triggered or to not feel anxious or just looking for that relief. If I just avoid this and I can get relief. Because what it does, and where OCD is so crafty, let's say, for example, you got triggered in the supermarket, okay? It will then tell you that if only you didn't go to the supermarket, you can now just go and live your life how you wanted to. And that's so crafty, that's so cheeky of it, okay? That's how it feels. It will tell you, yeah, but if only you didn't go to the supermarket, if only you didn't do that, if only you didn't go there, if only you didn't click on that, if only you didn't watch that television program, if only you didn't meet that person, if only that person over there didn't say that, that's what it's doing. If only that, then I wouldn't be triggered. Then I could just live my life. Then I wouldn't have this guilt. But that is a trap because it would just find something else. I hear all day long, yeah, but Sam, if only that thing didn't happen when I was 12, I would not be talking to you. Well, no, because it would just find something else. Okay? And that then fuels the compulsive cycle. That then fuels the avoidance because, let's go back to the original example. If you're triggered in the supermarket, for example, it will then convince you that don't go to the supermarket again because you'll then be triggered. So you then avoid supermarkets. And then the restricted OCD bubble gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and we live in that mental housebound prison where everything that you do feels like a trigger. It feels like I have to avoid that because that's going to scare me, or I might get triggered there, I can't go there, and before you know it, OCD is calling all the shots to your life, okay, and you're living in every restriction possible, okay, and my job and all of the coaches here on the team, and mainly your job when you're accountable, is to get your life back on track. We're here to guide you, we're here to advise you, we're here to show you the steps, baby steps. Okay, let's do this, we'll do this to get your life back on track. Okay, that's not working. Okay, you're holding that belief, that's not helping. But it's down to you and your application and implementing the tools and advice you're getting from us coaches, so you can go away and apply it yourself and start getting your life back on track, where you're calling the shots to your life, you're living life on your terms, and you're making decisions to your life and overall a much more healthier life structure as well. Okay? So stop trying to figure it out. I got told once, this was a very good quote. I was speaking to Rob and I was still trying to work out. This was good sort of 6, 7, 8 months into the journey. I can't remember exactly when, but I've been in quite a little while, probably about 6, 7, 8 calls by now. And I was still trying to figure out this thing in the past, constantly trying to figure out, oh, yeah, but hang on a minute. No, I know that, but what is if this happened? Hang on a minute. No, I know that one, but what is if that actually happened? Because it was going after drunk moments where I couldn't quite get certainty. Because it nestles in just in that faded memory, just in that grey, vague area where you can't quite get an answer. That's exactly what it does. So I was thinking, oh, hang on. No, I know that. No, I know that one, but what about this? What about that? And Rob was saying, look, stop trying to work it out. You have to go towards the worst case scenario. You have to go towards unconditional acceptance. And only when I started applying that, did things start to turn and I started to get better. And then OCD starts taking a back seat because it knows that, okay, even if I try and latch to this, he's no longer scared because he can accept the worst case scenario. That, of course, takes time. But he said to me this, he goes, Sam, on your gravestone, I do not want to see spent his whole life trying to work it out. And that really hit home. Because, let's be honest here, that would be the case, right? If I didn't apply unconditional acceptance, if I kept engaging with trying to get an answer, trying to figure out, trying to work it out, my whole life would just be trying to work out this thing in the past. That ain't living. That's just existing, right? Now, of course, that will happen because that's what OCD is going to do. It's going to latch to what you're scared of. But people still, and me included, when I was first on the journey, I was still just so fixated on getting an answer to work it out. I didn't want to go towards acceptance. I didn't want to go towards shifting my irrational beliefs. I didn't want to go towards uncertainty. I didn't want to go towards not knowing. I was so set on getting 100% answer and certainty that this thing definitely didn't happen. I was desperate for reassurance. I was desperate to be told, Sam, you've done nothing wrong. It's just OCD. No, this didn't happen. I was desperately to be told that. I would do anything to hear that. But I wasn't going to hear that, because even if you told me, Sam, you have done nothing wrong, shut up, Sam, you're chatting rubbish, you've done nothing wrong, that wouldn't be enough for OCD. That would not satisfy OCD, because it would say, hang on a minute, you haven't explained that right. Hang on a minute, when they were telling you that, they were lying, their facial expression said this, they were lying, they weren't being truthful, they weren't being honest, that means they still think you're a bad person, that means they think you did wrong, okay? And that is why I went down the confession cycle, because it was confess, 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 confess. But even when I got relief, even when someone reassured me, it then did never last. The relief was only temporary, very short term. And even towards the end, when I was still confessing, it wasn't even anything. Because halfway through confessing, it had already switched up and latched to something else. So I was confessing non-stop. I was possessed. You just couldn't stop me. It was like that. I couldn't be stopped, right? And that was a really low point. And that probably stopped. I probably put an end to confessing. This wasn't easy. You know, this was very, very bumpy. Trust me. This was like an addict coming off a drug. It really, really was that serious. I would say 2020, I'd say at least a year in, I put an end to confessing. Maybe sort of 9 months to a year, I would say. So I put a serious end to it. I knew it wasn't helping me, but I thought, no, I'm gonna fill anything. I'm willing to fill anything. Okay, because I had enough of confessing. I had enough of trying to work it out. I knew I was falling for the trap each time, but each time I was convinced, just get an answer. This one feels real. This one feels different. This one feels like the exception. Just get an answer, Sam. It is a trap. Okay, you will never, ever, ever get relief that way. And many people come into me and say, Sam, yeah, but what if I have to work this one out? How do I know this one I don't actually have to work out? Well, there is no blueprint. There is no set one that, work that one out. Don't work that one out. It doesn't work like that. Okay? This is when people, especially with relevant false memories, they say, but Sam, is it real? How do I know whether it's real or not? Well, you're not going to know. You have to treat it, even if it was real, how could you make peace with that? How can you apply unconditional acceptance? That is how you can overcome that. Not working out whether it's real or not. I haven't got to my place where I am today, recovered by, I finally got an answer. No, it does not work like that. It goes towards unconditional acceptance, that even if your worst case was true, going towards how you can still accept yourself, okay? Even at the worst case scenario, even if you went to jail, even if you were rejected, even if you've done wrong, even if you've made a mistake, even if you have to apologize to someone, okay? Once you start seeing that and acceptance towards that and bring down the catastrophizing of the worst case scenario, the need to work it out comes down. There is nothing now that I'm trying to work out. I've got full mental clarity, I've got mental energy. There is nothing in the past where I can go, oh my God, I have to work this one out. No, it doesn't exist, because there's nothing that could disrupt my peace today, because I've got a total unconditional acceptance of myself. Like I said, I've broken down the worst case scenario many, many times. I used to wake up in the morning and it used to be there. Let's say I was drinking. Drinking was a big one, and I hear this all the time in the job. People avoid alcohol because of this, but people drink, and then the next morning it's like, oh my God, the pull to work it out. Let's say the cheating OCD is a big one for this. Let's say, oh my God, did I speak to that person? Did I dance with that person? Did I text that person? Did I say this? I can't remember what I said. Oh my God, did I think this? Did I do this? That's what it's going to do, okay? And that's very, very common, especially after drink, especially sort of ages between, I'd say, sort of 12 to 16, when you can't quite remember. So it's as you're developing, it's going to go after those kind of ages. Maybe on holiday, on stag do's and so on, where it's like, did this happen? I can't quite remember, did this happen? I can't quite get certainty. And that is what it's looking to do. You will not get an answer. You will not be able to figure it out. You'll be spending your whole life doing that, I'm afraid. Okay, you have to go towards, even if the worst case is true. That is not agreement. That is not wanting the worst case scenario. That is not liking the worst case scenario. It's going towards, even if it was true, and if we're at complete peace and acceptance unconditionally of that, then OCD starts taking a back seat. It starts backing away. It starts taking a step down. Okay, the lashing power doesn't grip as much. It doesn't hit you with that oomph. It doesn't have that power. Okay, that isn't overnight. That takes a lot of time, but some very, very key points in this video. Stop trying to work it out. If you need help with that, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com and you get in touch with one-to-one calls with all the coaches here so we can look at your specific fears holding you back and see what you are still trying to work out, and we'll go towards an unconditional acceptance approach and changing our perspectives and our beliefs around the core fears. Anyway, you take care and we'll speak again. Bye-bye.